This was funny years ago why Don Lemon got fired. It's on what Piers Morgan.
She says people, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What are you talking? Wait.
That's not according to me.
Prime for what?
It depends. I mean, it's just like prime. If you look it up, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s. I don't necessarily.
40s. No, I got it.
Oh my god. This girl doesn't even understand. This woman, that girl. Yeah, what he's saying is actually right, but I don't know what he's talking about here. Yeah, women's fertility peaks at 23. Women go down, fast after that. And then at 29, that's why women 29.99 trying to find get the 2 kids, the house, the guy to marry them for fertility reasons. That's what, I don't know if he's talking about that. That's their prime. That's why women fall fast. She doesn't even understand it. She's so stupid.
I'm not saying I agree with that. So I think she has to be careful about saying that.
When you watch that, Don, I happened to be watching that live, and I was like, whoa, what did you say? If you had a do-over, would you say that again? I mean, what led you to say that?
Piers, let me just say this. I'm going to answer your question, but just so the audience knows, and I hope you don't cut this out, when I asked you what subjects you wanted to talk about, you know what you said to me? You said, I want to talk to you about freedom of speech in America and the response to Charlie Kirk's death.
Yeah.
Not once did you mention that we were going to talk about CNN or whatever. So, and had I known that, I probably wouldn't have accepted this interview. You have invited me on many times, and I tell you, Piers, I know you. I would come on your show, but I don't do panels. And so when you said I'm not going to be involved in a panel, I agreed to come on your show. But I thought you would also stick by the subjects that you told me that you were going to talk about.
Just to be clear,
rather than try to ambush me with something.
Just to be clear,
So,
you and I
yes.
haven't. Well, just to be clear, you and I haven't had any conversation about your appearance here. You're talking about my team talking to you.
Yeah, no, and I saw you, Piers, in a restaurant, and I said, hey, Piers, good to see you.
Yeah.
I would come on your show, but I don't do panels.
Right,
And
you're
I
not
said
on
the
a
same
panel.
thing to your bookers.
There's only one
And
of
so
you.
when I asked you, right, okay, and so, yes, and I said that's why I agreed to do it. But when you asked me, or when your team asked me what subjects, and I asked them 2 or 3 times, I have the text messages, what do you want to cover?
Yeah.
Not once was CNN mentioned. So I don't appreciate being ambushed. But let me answer your question
Hang on
we're
one
here.
second. Don, hang on one second. Let's just be crystal clear about what's just happened. You brought up the subject of cancel culture. I asked you, did you feel your departure from CNN was an example of that? And you answered the question. I think it's perfectly reasonable.
And I answered the question.
Perfectly reasonable in that if you said to me, I don't want to talk about it, fine. No, but hang on, no, so sorry. You said what you're going to say. By the way, we don't.
Disingenuous.
Don, we don't.
I don't like arguing like this. I'm not going to get into an argument with you. Piers, I think that's completely disingenuous. And I think anyone watching that.
What are you talking about?
And so if you will allow me, please.
What are you talking about?
Okay. Did you invite me here to interrupt me, or are you going to let me?
I think you're being a complete dick, if I'm honest with you.
Okay.
I do.
Well, that's very kind and respectful of you.
It wasn't intended to be kind or
I don't like the
respectful.
ad hominem attacks.
All right, so no one off. So, yeah, the big thing with social media now, the internet, all these shows, CNN, Piers Morgan, it's all rage bait. It's almost like they're actors. He might even told him to come on, let's have a little argument. You don't even know what's real anymore. He had that clip about the woman and he got fired because he said women peak at a certain age. Yes, it's true, but I don't know if he was allowed to say that on CNN. Obviously, you can't because he got fired. But this is the new culture we're in. That's why you see people saying stuff on X, this. That's the economy. That's the internet economy now. Now, whatever you're doing, you could be a trainer, you could be whatever, media. You have to say outrageous stuff to get people to follow you for income, for clicks, for views. This is the new world. A lot of people just don't understand this.